Imagine there are people somewhere walking on all fours differently from normal people right now. These people, who are waiting to be discovered secretly from the world until 2005, are walking in this way. They have been doing this since infancy. But why do they walk like this? Will this extraordinary discovery reveal some truths? Today you will witness incredible things about this. 2007 Babylon. These people can't walk on their feet. They struggle when they try to walk. It even turns into almost a torture for them. Other members of the family are healthy, but some of them can't walk normally. Of course, this situation also brings out other problems. For example, their hands are peeling and hurting because they are constantly touching the ground like their other feet. The same goes for their feet. Because they walk at an angle, their toes are constantly bent. After a while, they experience serious problems with their joints. Over time, they develop swellings and deformities in their fingers. Most of the family members who walk this way also have mental disabilities. At this point, this possibility may come to mind. Do they walk this way because of their mental disabilities? Or is it easier for them to walk this way? Perhaps this is their own choice. At this point, some research was needed. Everything started with an article published by Turkish scientists. The article was about a family in a remote corner of Turkey. The strange thing was that they walked on all fours. They walked just like animals. While the comparison may be unpleasant, it best describes the situation. For some reason, the article published by Turkish scientists mentioned insignificant details. More precisely, they didn't focus much on the main topic. Why did they walk on all fours? A professor from England who saw this article found what was written unbelievable. He was even quite surprised. Professor Nick set off for Turkey with a friend shortly after. This was an incredible discovery because such a thing had never been reported in the scientific literature before. The professor wanted to see everyone in this state. After a while, someone was seen coming from down the road. From a distance, he seemed to be drunk, but he was one of those who had a slight problem walking on all fours. The others were not as lucky as him. Hussein was one of them and has been in this state for about 28 years. The family has 5 children who show extreme imbalance along with cognitive barriers that make it difficult for them to stand upright while walking. As a result, these 5 children have adapted to moving on all fours because they have never been able to stand upright for years. They use their hands like front feet when walking on all fours. And for this reason, some of them use shoes on their hands while others use slippers. Is this way of walking a choice of their own? Or do they have a skeletal structure that prevents them from walking upright? Perhaps the answer to this question goes back to the first humans. According to the belief in evolution, ancient humans walked just like monkeys for a while. I don't know whether living this way was hard or easy for them, but it must have been difficult because, according to belief, they stood up over time. When, why, or how it happened is still unknown. According to some people who advocate evolution, these 4-legged walking humans that have just been discovered, they could be living evidence of their ancestral traces. However, the Islamic faith defends the exact opposite view. Humanity was created as humans starting from Adam and Eve and never underwent evolution. So, it was bipedal from the beginning. After this discovery, some scientists tried to explain this situation from an evolutionary perspective, and there were those who said this was an example of reverse evolution to walking on 4 legs. To explain the matter, for example, a dog moves its 2 right legs forward at the same time while walking. Then it moves its other legs in the same way. This is called lateral sequence walking. But when humans walk, if the right foot steps forward, the left hand goes forward. So it's the exact opposite of the previous example. Of course, except for this human, who is the only example of its kind here. According to some researchers, the way these people in the Turkish village walk, with the right hind foot and then the right forearm moving forward, reflects the characteristics of their primate ancestors, like a reflection of the genetic evidence of the first humans. Of course, this thought is not correct. According to the belief in evolution, this standing up situation is a gradual transition process, and there are many years between each transition process. So the way these people walk definitely cannot be reconciled with backward evolution. Meanwhile, there is no evidence other than inferences that ancient humans walked on all fours. For example, these tracks discovered in Tanzania, thought to be more than 3 million years old, belong to a human, and this human appears to have been walking on 2 feet when looking at the tracks. These tracks, preserved with hardened volcanic sediments, are the oldest human footprints ever discovered. So even in the oldest human tracks ever discovered on Earth, humans were walking and hunting on 2 feet. Standing upright is one of the most important features that distinguishes us from most creatures, but there are also creatures that have to do this. For example, a mouse without front limbs continues its life by standing upright. Even this dog, one of the most important creatures that should be on 4 legs, has long since adapted to living on 2 legs, albeit with difficulty, due to the lack of front limbs. Could these people in the village have also adapted to walking this way due to some compulsory reasons? To see this, the team took some members of the family to a special hospital. They brought them. At this point, they will enter the magnetic resonance imaging machine and try to find out what the problem is. When the results come out, some oddities are noticed. Examining the results reveals shrinkage in the cerebellum area, observed in all affected siblings. Brain damage is clearly common. This shrunken cerebellum still can't explain why some individuals in the family walk on all fours, because there are many cases where people with damage to this part can walk normally. Scientists were predicting that the cause was due to the DNA in the family. Professor Stephen Moundless thinks that a genetic problem in the DNA is causing this, but according to Professor Nick, it is entirely due to the irresponsibility of the family, the environment, or the people there. Children who struggle to stand upright due to partial physical disabilities found it easier to walk this way and chose this path. In conclusion, this was an indication of them saying they were more comfortable this way. However, this could have been prevented. As you know, babies walk in a way called crawling on their hands and knees for a while. But these individuals in the family who walk on all fours did it like this when they were little. It's really sad that this problem these individuals clearly have a disability experienced in infancy was never addressed, and there was no one to help them stand up. This is a great injustice done to them. At the very least, they could have been given special education or physiotherapy. The idea that it couldn't be done due to financial impossibilities doesn't change anything. These children never deserve to walk like animals. No one would ever choose to walk this way for a lifetime. But unfortunately, all of them have been ignored. Someone from the team eventually gets them a very simple walker that will help them walk upright, and it prevents them from having to walk bent over. Of course, more useful things could be purchased, but this is just a start. In the following days, iron rods were placed in their gardens to encourage them to walk. After the help they received, their happiness could be read in their eyes. But for some, there is very little hope left. They may have to walk like this for the rest of their lives. As I said, affording these devices or making a few aids at home to help them walk upright is incompatible with poverty. You can't attribute these to their being penniless or poor. This is clearly ignoring, not caring. Look, a big thing, a huge thing. At least some of the families started getting treatment before it was too late, and they are much happier than before. They will start walking like humans now, in the same world with those who couldn't become human. I am NYGMA. See you later.